Well, a good afternoon wherever you are joining us. We're live in Cardiff. It is Lauren Price's Day of Destiny, almost. We're just days away from the world title fight, WBA welterweight title fight between the champion Jessica McCaskill from America and Lauren Price from here in Wales. Matt Macklin is with me and be part of our commentary team on the night. Matt, it's been a relatively quick journey for Lauren Price to this point, but it feels like the world title was going to come sooner rather than later. If she's going to do it, though, she's got to beat a well-rounded and durable and, in many ways, a quality world champion in Jessica McCaskill.
Yeah, very much so. McCaskill, big name in women's boxing. Been here with Katie Taylor, Cecilia Brackhouse. She's fought everyone. But I think Lauren Price is that special talent. She was always going to be moved quickly because she was mature, turning professional, but also because of what a very she'd done everything as an amateur, gold medalist, experienced, so she was always going to move quickly.
What about her progress so far? I think as a world-class international amateur, you face pretty much every style, I would think, and when you've got high-quality Russians and Uzbeks and people like that she had to beat along the way, you feel that perhaps you've boxed every single style that there is. But we know Jessica McCaskill, particularly that Katie Taylor fight, where that really announced what Jessica McCaskill is to us. She's front foot, pressure fighter. She can be in your face at times. Lauren Price hasn't boxed anyone like that as a professional so far, but that amateur experience that I mentioned, how important will that be that she might have to draw on that in the 10 rounds on Saturday night?
Yeah, not just the amateur experience, but her ability to perform, consistently perform at the top level against other top athletes from around the world, year in, year out, from tournament to tournament. You're a serious operator, and she's made, she has adapted quickly to the professional ranks. She's gone the rounds. Her style's pretty much the same. A little few tweaks here and there, but she's so quick. She judges that she controls the distance, she controls the pace. She's a southpaw, she can move. She's just so clever as well. McCaskill though does pose, I think, a problem for her to solve that she hasn't faced yet, particularly that internal just refusal to quit, that real self-belief. And she's got a lot better since that fight with Katie Taylor. I know, and obviously Katie has too, but she really went on after that defeat and really announced herself.
Well, we were going to actually save this till later on in the show, but partner of Lauren and undefeated professional Caris Artinstoll is going to join us now. Caris, you just come and stand in the middle.
Got room for a little one?
How are you? Great to see you. I mean, you're all smiles at this part of the week, but I know from a fact that this is not easy sort of watching for you when it comes to Lauren fighting. You'd rather have all the control in your own hands and be concentrating on your fight. And what's it like being around Lauren, particularly with the world title fight on the horizon now, just days away?
I can smile now because it's not my fight week for starters, so you'll get a few smiles out of me now.
You're not making weight?
No, I'm not making weight, and I'm on the other side of the rope, so it's not as nervous for me. Well, I say that now, but on fight night it will be. She's in good spirits. She's been training really hard. She looks very, very good in the gym, so she just needs to show up and do what Lauren does on the night, and I'm 100% confident that she'll come away with her belts.
Talking about Lauren the person, not Lauren the fighter, does the magnitude of the event ever make a difference with her? When you've won an Olympic gold and you've boxed the best around the world, I sometimes think that these things don't affect people like you and Lauren as much as it might affect other fighters. But it is a world title, it is a homecoming, it is an expectant Welsh crowd. Has she shown any nerves in the build-up to this one that she hasn't shown before, or is it the same old Lauren from your perspective?
It's the same old Lauren, but I think it's not the world titles or anything that's given her that little bit more of an edge in the sense of the nerves. I think it's more so the homecoming. I think because she knows on the night it's going to get loud. A lot of people are backing her and supporting her. She's had a lot of attention on her. All eyes are on Lauren Price again. So I think that might have touched the nervous system a bit more, but other than that, like I say, once the bell goes, you just do what you do, don't you? And her skills and that will show. So yeah, I think she'll be sound.
Now, I'm very interested in where you're at with this, because I know you're a great support network for each other and a very close bond, but a little birdie tells me that the stress levels with giving out tickets and dealing with tickets and money and running around and PR, a lot of it has fallen to you. So congratulations and well done, because I think the tickets have gone well, but something that you probably don't want to do again, is that fair to say?
The first week, not even the first week, the first couple of nights, the phone was blowing. We got a burner phone, it's an odd number, so obviously I didn't want to give Lauren's number out, we didn't want to give my number out, but it was blowing up at 4:30 in the morning, and I was like, what's that noise? And I was like, it's the burner phone. I was like, or whatever you want to call it, the little spare phone.
I can only imagine your tone when the phone's going at 4:30 in the morning and it's you picking up. More for them.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm not in fight week, so I'm a bit more nice to be around, so I wasn't that bad. But yeah, the first week or so, it was absolutely mental. She's had fantastic support. Unreal, to be fair, because at the start we wasn't too sure how well she'd do, but she sold over 1,000 tickets, and I think she's done really well, to be fair. So yeah, but the stress has gone down a bit now because the tickets are gone. I'm not dealing with them anymore. It's all done.
I'd love to know what your telephone voice is with something like that.
I've actually got a really posh voice. I'm like, hello, yes, I'm dealing with Lauren Price's tickets.
Funny enough, I've never heard that tone from you. I've never heard that tone from you, funny enough.
Well, to get the stress out of the way at this stage, this is where it usually cranks up a few levels. Everyone, can I only want 5 now, or can I sit next to this?
Can I pay you next week? Can I pay you next week? I mean, you can relate to that. Selling tickets, people like Josh Warrington and people like that do it all themselves. I always tip my hat to them and think, we can't relate to that. What is that like when you've got that hometown expectant pressure of you've got to shift them, it's down to you, you don't want to be rude, and you've got to train at the same time?
I think it doesn't really matter how big you get or what level you get to, because there's always people that want to come to you for the tickets, because there is Ticketmaster, that thousands of other people go to, but this, certain amount of people just want to go to you, don't they?
Meet you in person, don't they? They want to meet you, get a picture with you. That's what I've had most of the time. They're like,
but I want else to do. You ain't got no weight to make. You ain't got no fights to think about. You know what I mean?
Not got to go training or anything like that.
Your ticket's the most important thing. I've got to get that ticket to you.
But with Lauren as well, being Lauren, she's so laid back. She doesn't know how to say no to anyone, and I'm having a go at her. I'm like, look, you got to focus on training. You got to go in. Yeah, but I've got to get this ticket out to such and such, and I'm like.
You've done really well not to swear throughout that. I think you've come pretty close. But listen, we're going to step out of the way because we want to get these media workouts underway. Great to speak to you, and I'm looking forward to that mood change towards fight night where all these smiles are gone and you look like you want to kill me. So when I say I'm looking forward to it, I don't think I do mean that. But anyway, great to see you, and thanks for joining us on the stream.
Thank you very much.
Matt, I'm just going to pull you to one side because for the first time, I will hand over to Big Mo.
His weight is ready for his workout. From Penny Great Wales, he is undefeated with a professional record of 15 wins versus no defeats, with 4 of those wins coming by way of knockout. And he is fighting this Saturday for the vacant WBA Intercontinental Featherweight Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, Reese Edwards.
So this is Reese Edwards and Gary Lockett. What a tremendous reception for Reese Edwards. Unbeaten as a professional. And that was really nice talking to Caris Artinstoll as well, who is obviously living every step of the journey with Lauren Price. I don't think any swear words slipped out, although we got perilously close, so apologies if any of the language strayed south of the border. But this is Reese Edwards. Matt, we know him very well because we commentated on this fight. Not without his controversy. We should address that first off. He felt that perhaps we didn't give him a fair shout against Brad Foster, who I think both of us leant towards on the night. I think we've all cleared the air now, but win or lose, it was a good performance from Reese Edwards. It was a bit of a litmus test in terms of his professional career. And he did box well. It was a close fight that we felt could have gone either way, and it went his way on the cards, and they're the only ones that matter.
Yeah, and I just echo all that. I mean, like I said, on the night, we were scoring the fight round by round, and I had Brad Foster nicking what was a really good fight. I mean, no major argument either with the decision, and it was a really good performance, by both of them. And that's a fight I'd love to see again. But here he is now boxing in Wales, in Cardiff. And that was his first 10-rounder as well. Certainly his first time going 10. Was it 10 rounds or 12?
Yeah, 10 rounds, yeah.
And so, the experience of that and the confidence that they've given him, he'll be 10, 15, 20% a better fighter going into this fight.
Yeah, because it shouldn't really be overlooked. Brad Foster was former British and European champion. He had real, genuine pedigree. And what I quite liked from boxers' perspective, but also from Reese and Gary Lockett, which was we want to find out at this early stage in our career, of the level of which we can hang with these guys. And you have to salute that. In terms of this fight as well, Thomas Patrick Ward, it is another quality step up from Reese Edwards. There is certainly nothing lacking in the confidence of the young man and his ambition.
Yeah, I was just going to throw the word ambition, but yeah, look, I love that. You know, I love that. I want to know how good I am. I want to know. Throw me in there. And by the way, you know, this is a fight he could lose. Thomas Patrick Ward, you know, he was on only a couple of fights ago. He was really flying. You know, and this is a fight he'll be looking at, that he can get a win here on Sky, that all of a sudden he gets back up there. So, you know, this is a fight that will be tough to pick a winner.
Gary Lockett as well, a very, very good trainer. And you can see what Reese Edwards is about. He's a very tidy boxer. He's carried a lot of those amateur traits through. He was a quality junior and youth level amateur, 5 Welsh junior titles and boxed for Wales internationally, European juniors, world juniors, won a bronze medal at the Youth Commonwealth Games in 2017, actually lost to Charles Frankham, who was a brilliant, I mean absolutely top tier youth amateur, but he's got good skills and good traits. I think one of the things he certainly had an issue with my commentary was we didn't give him enough props for the use of the jab, and he has got a very, very good jab, but very good technical ability as well. Even when he goes through the pad routine here, what stands out for you? Very technically sound?
Yeah, exactly. Well schooled, nice boxer, fluid, good, decent speed, good, you know, pretty good hand speed, punches in combinations, and everything off the jab. Like I say, very well schooled, technically correct boxer.
So on Thomas Patrick Ward, those that have been watching Sky Sports Boxing over the last few years, I mean, he was a bit of a mainstay, really. He had that, I don't know if you remember, it was during COVID. He had that technical draw with Thomas Asomba, a fight that he was expected to win, and Thomas Asomba, I think, he's a slippery customer, and he can trip you up on a night like that. It was a technical draw in the end, but Asomba's a very, very good fighter. Edwards.
Was that the bad cut?
Yeah, really bad cut. Yeah, but
I remember the fight. I remember Asomba coming out really up for it, super game, and I think he threw Ward a little bit. You know what I mean? I don't think you expected it, and then obviously the horrific cut and technical decision, but it didn't. He would be a handful for anyone.
And he had that unbeaten run in British boxing. I think at a time it was one of, if not the longest unbeaten run in British boxing. Undefeated in 34 fights, but he took on Otabek Kolmatov, you know, which doesn't get much better than that, from Kazakhstan up in Newcastle that fight was, and actually Kolmatov just missed out on a world title against Ray Ford, so we know how good he was. There was no shame for Thomas Patrick Ward losing a fight like that.
No, definitely not, and I think for himself, going to see what Kolmatov has gone on to do, because like Ray Ford pulled it out the bag, didn't he, in that fight? Yeah. He was probably behind on the card.
Yeah, right at the end.
You know, so to see how he performed at that level, and think, well, you know what, I got beaten, I didn't win at that level, but he'll know where he could have improved, or how far off he was. So I think he'll source confidence from that.
Now, you boxers are all the best liars in the world, and I bumped into Reese in the shopping centre earlier, and he said it's the best training camp I've ever had and the best that I've ever made weight. So much so, he said, I've not been obsessed with my Instagram feed trying to tell me what food to eat. Every boxer says that, but he does look a happy fighter, and a happy fighter is a dangerous fighter. Oldest cliche in the boxing book, but it does mean something.
Those cliches come from somewhere. There is some substance to them, or a lot of them anyway. Just looking at him hitting the pads here, he doesn't look to me on a Wednesday before the fight like somebody that's struggling with the weight. He's not just going through the motions here. There's a bit of pop. We could even slap off those shots. We're a good bit back from the ring. So, looks good, looks sharp. And I think he's still very much an improving fighter.
Can you relate to this? He said 9 weeks have flown by, and then you get to Wednesday and it's like someone presses pause.
Yeah, the fight week just drags, doesn't it? You just want to get in there, you know what I mean? It's like you do that workout on Monday or Tuesday, you're like thinking, I just want to get to Friday. And ironically, you get to Friday and then you can completely forget about everything.
I don't know about you, the bank holiday has completely messed me up. I thought today was Thursday, I was on my way to the press conference. Atmosphere's building here. I can see Rick Ramos and Jessica McCaskill in the entranceway of the shopping centre, and Caris painted a picture of what Lauren Price is like, and I do believe that she is telling the truth. You get the impression that Lauren Price, it all just comes in her stride, that for all we say about the atmosphere and what we're expecting at the Utility Arena on Saturday, that for Lauren Price, it is just another day in the office. I don't know whether or not she will be ruffled by this at all. She seems fairly unruffable in everything that she does.
Yeah, I don't think she'll be ruffled one bit. That doesn't mean she won't feel the nerves and the butterflies and the excitement and some pressure. She'll definitely feel all of those things. But those are things that when you perform consistently at top level year after year, like we said, tournament after tournament, the amateurs, and now as a pro, that's just a given that those things are part of the course. So she's a veteran, really. Okay, not in the pro game, but in the performing at top level as a boxer. She's been doing it for so long, and she's just takes it all in a stride.
And just while we wait for Reese to make his way over to us, how are you feeling about this run that we've got coming up on Sky Sports, including Undisputed? You know, we'll be out in Saudi from Sunday. This really does whet the appetite, doesn't it? You know, Lauren Price could become Wales's 14th world champion, the first female world champion, then it's on to Saudi for the big one.
Yeah, look, March was good, wasn't it? We had that trip in Saudi with the AJ. What a knockout! You know, put boxing back on the map over the UFC guys, and then what a cracker we had with Wardley and Clark. You know, so April was quiet, but you know, we're back with a bang in May.
Let's just stand back in. Reese is just going to do one or two words with Savdan in the ring, but we'll take him on our own feed when he comes over. Yeah, early stages, obviously, with a build-up for that, but then it's straight on to a Coley in Poland. So we go Lauren Price this weekend, then to the Undisputed Heavyweight World title, and then to a Coley against Rosansky, or to get it right, Rosansky or Coley. I mean, it's exciting times, isn't it?
Oh, big time, and then, you know, into June as well. Then we've got Reactor and William Smith, so... and listen, that's a rematch. I remember the first fight we did it, and I think it was close, wasn't it? You know, it wasn't a lot in it, but they've both improved a lot since then. You know, you could argue that maybe Chris Smith is more miles on the clock out of the two, but he'll say he's more, you know, battle hardened. So tough one to pick a winner in that. Really big month of May. Obviously starting on Saturday night with Lauren. Yeah, just glad to be back. Busy.
Yeah, I mean, I can't keep the smile off my face. The fan in me, I just can't get enough of it. I really can't at the moment. Talking about boxing atmospheres and boxing fans, we're going to upset someone here, because everywhere you go, they're always the best fans. I've said it a million times. You know, Belfast fans, you know, incredible. Go up to Glasgow, some of the nights we've had up there. But a Welsh boxing crowd, when they get behind their own, I mean, there's a lot of similarities between all of the crowds that I've just said. But Lauren Price particularly, and Reese, you can hear the fans here. They will need that sort of 12th man support, you feel?
Yeah, I think so. You know, as much as we know what a quality operator Lauren is, I mean, it is a big step up quickly from winning the Olympics, turning professional, and here she is, I think, is in her 7th fight against someone as experienced as Jessica McCaskill. So, you know,
Reese, come straight in. We're just actually talking about, what a great time to join us. We're talking about best boxing crowds and what it's like as a fighter and how you thrive off that, and how Lauren will buzz off that as a homecoming. But for you as well, being so high up the bill in what we think is arguably one of the best fights on the bill, and probably the biggest fight of your career. I know every fight at this stage is the biggest fight, but how much of a buzz will that give you? It's like a 12th man in football, you know, the energy that you can take from a packed out Utility Arena.
It's going to be amazing. I just really can't wait for it. I've done well on tickets. I'm sure the boys in the gym have, my stable mates, Lauren obviously. It's going to be packed, and the Welsh fans are passionate. I can imagine it's going to be electric atmosphere there, and it just gives you a drive and gives you a bit of grit in your teeth.
I was just saying to Matt what you said to me in the shopping centre, which is 9 brilliant weeks, and then someone presses pause and everything drags.
That's exactly what it's like.
It makes me laugh, but at the same time, for someone in the early stages of your career to be involved in a bill like this and have to do the public workouts and stuff like that, just how motivating is that? And is it a bit of a pinch yourself moment at times?
Yeah, of course it is. Like, to think 2-3 years ago, I was on, I'm not knocking them, but I was on the small shows, after to sell a load of tickets, no open workouts, no press conference, and it's the stuff you dream of from starting boxing at a young age. So yeah, it's brilliant. And
do you feel that brings the best out of you? You know, some fighters are the bright light, what do they call them in America, big game players. You know, you love the big stage. Do you think you thrive off that?
100%. Maybe not the first few fights on the bigger stages, because you got
kind of get used to it. Well, I did anyway, but now I'm used to it, and yeah, I've got a great buzz around me. Me and the boys are just all raring to go, and we can't wait.
I don't want to upset you, but because you've got boyish looks, I think when we first had you on Sky Sports, you're almost like, has he got his man strength? Is he is he going to thrive and prosper in this environment? The Brad Foster fight, Matt and I were just talking about it. I know we were public enemy number one with you, and particularly Gary Lockett, who I have to say, Matt, quietly, I still haven't said hello to him yet. I've been keeping a low profile. But what a fight to learn, and prove that you belong at this level. What do you take away from that? Obviously a great win for you, but a hard fight like that, does that prove that you know now that you belong at that level? He was British and European champion formerly, and you did a job.
100%. It set me up lovely now to where I am right now. Before that fight, I only went 6 rounds, and I come on strong in the last 4 rounds. So I know I'm fit for 10 easy. I could have done 12. So yeah, it set me up, and it's a brilliant experience, and on to bigger and better things. Yeah,
well, there are similarities here because again, step up again. Thomas Patrick Ward is a quality operator. As a little bit of a homecoming, you probably could have selected, no offence at all to anybody, but you probably could have had a little bit of an easier touch and a showcase. But what does that say about you and your ambition and perhaps the confidence that Gary Lockett's got in you that you go again, let's go big again and see where we're at?
Yeah, me, Gary and the team, we know how good I am. They see it day in, day out in the gym. Just have to show in our own fight night, and I know I've got a tough task ahead of me, but really how tough is it? We'll see on Saturday, and I'm more than confident of getting the job done.
Yeah, chances of Thomas Patrick Ward watching this live stream are very low, I would say, although you never know, he might be a big fan.
Maybe.
How do you win this fight? What is the best way to beat Thomas Patrick Ward?
Doing what I do best and being myself and boxing to my abilities.
And so much of the focus, before I let you go, so much of the focus is going to be on Lauren Price, just because she's top of the bill, chance to become world champion number 14 for Wales. But at the same time, how important it is for you to win and get people talking about you, and actually when they say about who stole the show, that people are saying it was Reese Edwards.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. Obviously not taking nothing away from Lauren, but I want to shine as bright as anyone on the show, and I'm pretty sure I box to my best. I'll do that.
Thank you very much for talking to us. We wish you all the best of luck. Go well on Saturday night. Reese Edwards, ladies and gentlemen. Matt, we'll stand straight out of the way because we are on to the reason that so many people have packed out the shopping centre here today in Cardiff, the capital shopping centre. Let's hear Big Mo introduce Lauren Price.
Introducing first for her open workout, the challenger. She is undefeated as a professional with 6 wins versus no defeats, with one of those wins coming by way of knockout. As she fights out of Israel, Wales, introducing the Olympic gold medalist, the MBE, and the first ever British women's champion. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the lucky one, Lauren Price.
Well, here she comes, the lucky one, Lauren Price, MBE, stepping up to world title level in just her 7th professional fight. I missed it off of her list of achievements earlier, Matt, but first ever British women's champion, lifted that Lonsdale belt. That was history in the making, and she can make history again in becoming the first ever female Welsh world champion. I do feel like sometimes there are similarities with Katie Taylor in terms of being a trailblazer and making firsts. She's already done it a number of times, Lauren Price. She will be desperate to get her hands on this world title on Saturday.
I'm laughing because I was just about to say all that stuff.
I promise that I am not doing it on purpose. It's not the first time I've done it. I promise I'm not doing it on purpose.
But you're right, there are similarities. She is the Olympic gold medalist, is the obvious one, but also a trailblazer and an all-rounded fantastic sports person. Played football for Wales. Katie Taylor played football for Ireland. So there are similarities there. Look, it's good that she's fighting for the world title. It's good that she's here in Cardiff. I think we should have been here for her debut, but look, it wasn't to be. But she's fighting here now for the world title, and hopefully she puts on the performance that we all believe she's capable of, wins, and then Wales on Sunday morning should have a new star.
What about the vibe that you get from her in terms of mindset? I always feel like she's super relaxed and a little bit in cruise control. Nothing seems to faze her. I don't know what sort of vibe you get from her yourself.
Exactly that. I don't think we've seen her really get out of second gear yet, because she hasn't had to. I think she's someone that frustratingly so sometimes. She's happy staying in second gear. If she doesn't have to get out of it, she won't. But I don't think she's even had to really break a sweat yet. She's just coasted. It'd be interesting to see if McCaskill can put her under enough pressure. Don't forget, McCaskill has gone up to welterweight. I think Lauren's come down, hasn't she, from middleweight? And I've seen some of the training she does. She's so strong. It's unbelievable. Even though she doesn't fight physical, she's more of a boxer on the move. She is really physically very strong. So I think anyone's at welterweight is going to find it very hard to out-physical her.
Yeah, and that's really interesting, and I want to make sure I phrase this correctly so I don't cause any offence, but when you look at the body shape of Lauren Price, actually, she sounds like someone that should perhaps be an offensive, aggressive fighter, just because of the way she's built. She's got huge shoulders, heavily built, but actually maybe it's a credit to her footwork that she tends to glide. She's not heavy-footed at all. She tends to glide around the ring, and this is going to shock you, Matt, but I'm not a big appreciator of great footwork because I never had to do it. I know how difficult it is, but you never notice with her. She just seems to glide along the ring.
Yeah, very light on her feet. Doesn't, in the amateur, she wouldn't have to really get set or plant your feet to bang it hard because you're just looking to score the point and that. She still kind of kept that style. But I remember seeing an interview with Andre Ward, who could box, but he was really good on the inside as well. And he was talking about young fighters, about talking about this fan-friendly style, and he said, no. He said, hit, don't get hit. Yes, work on your physical strength so you can't be bullied and pushed around. But that doesn't mean you have to. It's not a strongman contest. You know what I mean? You can be a boxer. That doesn't mean you neglect your physical strength because you want to be able to not let people bully you when they try to make it physical on you. So even though she's built like someone that you'd think would stand their ground and want to fight. Her style is she's in and out, box, clever, hit, don't get hit. But what that does mean is the people who then, when they think they're going to get to her and they're going to impose themselves on her, isn't going to happen.
I wonder if she has got that in her, and that's something that might develop over time. Rob McCracken might say, look, there will come a time where you could stand your ground and bang. I think of the Kirsty Babington fight, and again, with all the respect to Kirsty Babington in the world, I wonder if there was a time in that fight where if Lauren just would have held her feet, she may have closed the show. But Kirsty Babington is stupidly tough, and there's absolutely no offence intended there, but perhaps that's the only criticism you could have had in that fight, that she could have closed the show, held her feet, and tried to get her out of there.
Yeah, and I think she probably will do that as she evolves and improves and gets more comfortable. She's stepping up each time. So sometimes when you're just stepping up to the next level, you're just focusing on getting the win. But, as she sort of consolidates, if she wins on Saturday, becomes world champion and starts defending it and just really consolidates and grows into that role, I think we might start to see that then.
She's very eloquent and well-spoken, Jessica McCaskill, and I think we're safe enough that we can ask her when she comes on the stream. But what do you think McCaskill will do? Do you think she will, because there's been times recently where she has looked like she's trying to box more, and I would argue and debate whether or not that plays to her strengths, because actually when she put her foot to the floor and was super aggressive against Katie Taylor, she had a lot of success, and there might be something to be said that might be the way to try and beat Lauren Price. You might not be able to beat Lauren Price in a boxing match.
No, exactly. I think if she tries to stand the outside and box with Lauren, that'd be tactically a mistake. I think she has to try and get up close, make it physical. Again, we're talking about the physical thing, but that's going to be hard work as well because Lauren is so strong. But I don't think she's got the speed or the speed of foot either, hand speed or feet to outbox Lauren. So I think she's going to have to try and take it to her. That said, that's going to be an ordeal.
Well, if you are just joining us, this is Lauren Price's media workout ahead of that massive show at the Utilita Arena on Saturday night, live on Sky Sports. Jessica McCaskill, the champion, defending against Lauren Price in her first world title tilt. Quality undercard as well. We've already heard from her partner, Caris Artinstoll, who's been there every step of the way and is casting a watchful eye over her from ringside. Rob McCracken isn't here. I mean, that isn't too much of a shock. He's a GB performance director. He's got a lot on with the run-up to the Olympics, and in what is Rob's way, he tends to stand back and sort of I don't think he'll even be there at the press conference, actually. I think he'll just breeze in on fight night. It is the Ron McCracken way. He's very much a man who enjoys the shadows.
Yeah, but he'll have his, his representative here. The girls have got a great relationship with also, and he'll, the work's done, isn't it? These are experienced people. That, she knows what not to eat and what to eat now. She's not going to bust the gut too much today, and she'll make weight well on Friday, and then they'll get together on Saturday.
Matt, let's just stand back in because we're going to be joined eventually by Lauren, who's just having her photos done, but also we've got some extra guests joining us as well. Liam, come and join us. I'll tease you up. So, Liam Reardon won Love Island in 2021. Lovely to meet you. How are you?
Good. This weighty has been in the ring with Spencer.
Yes, I saw that. So explain what was going on there. So you know Lauren very well, but also a boxing fan as well. So what did they say? Come down and help us out here and hit a few pads.
Yeah, come down. Dan Miller said, look, you're going to be on about 20 minutes. 3 minutes later, Dad, right, you're up. So I said, yeah, where's my warm-up? I need a bit of warm-up. Caught me off guard, that one, but it was good fun.
Yeah, I could hear some bombs going off. I wondered what it was. I turned around and saw it was you hitting the pads. Tell us about Lauren then. So you're a fan. How confident are you that she becomes world champion on Saturday night? And what would it mean for the area? I mean, everyone supported her. She's got that Olympic gold medal, and I think Wales love her, but she's got to get it done on Saturday.
100%. Like, us Welsh fans, we get behind our fighters. You see with Joe Cordina fighting in Cardiff last, we get behind our fans, and it'll be the same Saturday night for Lauren. But she's had a short career, and this is a big test early on in, but, I think come Saturday night, she will be victorious.
What was it like here when she was in the Olympic Games? Tremendous support. I think that is one thing about the Welsh fans, that you do back your own and support her. I suppose she's inspired a generation, but she's super talented. It seems to be whatever she wants to do, she excels at, with the football and the rugby and the taekwondo.
Yeah, 100%. She's the first female welterweight champion, she?
Yeah, the first British champion, and she'll be Wales' first female world champion if she gets it done.
Exactly. Wales' first female boxing world champion. I think that's tremendous. And the career she's had toward the amateurs and the Olympics, it's just been incredible. So I think Saturday night she will be icing on the cake for her. What
about you? So we could see you can do a bit. Have you always been a boxing fan?
I've always loved boxing. My dad took me to the gyms when I was younger in Wales. We've got a big history of boxers in Merthyr Tydfil, actually, I'm from. But I've always loved boxing. A football player when I was younger, I weren't that good. But I never actually had a fight in boxing, but I've always trained, and I think I want to give it a go. I don't want to be 30 years of age. I think, I wish I went for it, you know what I mean? So I'm 24 now, I think I'll have a go eventually.
So if Misfits come calling, I mean, everybody wants to go at the moment. If they come calling, you're with the right opponent, I can be a businessman. If it makes money, it makes sense.
If it makes money, it makes sense. But look, I'm happy to get involved. I just don't want to live in regret and miss out on it. So I feel like I got the fundamentals. I got a bit there. I just need to work on my skills.
Before I let you go, let me just ask you about the big one next week as well. Usyk Fury, undisputed heavyweight championship. Who do you fancy in that one? Are you Team Fury, or are you one of these that sees Usyk as a bit of a bogeyman and it could all go wrong for Fury?
Look, they're both masters of their trade. They're very, very good, the both of them. But I just feel, I love Usyk, he's amazing, but I think Fury got the size, he got the agility. I don't see how you can compete with that. So for me, it's a Fury win.
Brilliant. And you're 100% confident in Lauren on Saturday?
100%.
Lovely. Well, thank you very much for joining us on Sky Sports. Nice to meet you as well. And
Hold you with a sweat as well.
No, don't worry. I turned into Don King there, didn't I? It makes money, it makes sense. I don't even know where that came from. I embarrassed I embarrassed myself there. He makes some valid points though. Like, Lauren has got that support base. I echo what you say. I know we're only in fight number 7, but they've been absolutely chomping at the bit here for Lauren to come home. It just so happens to be that when she comes home, it's for a world title.
Yeah, well, look, if you're coming back in, you may as well come back with a bang, you know what I mean? And the debut would have been nice, but that didn't happen. But now she's here, so it's her time now. A world title shot against McCaskill, who's one of the bigger names, isn't she, in women's boxing? Outside of Katie Taylor and Clarissa Shields. She's not too far down there. Like I say, Lauren's just one of those special talents, I think. And like I say, coming down from middleweight, 75 kilos in the amateurs, she looks so strong. I mean, I know some of the training that she does, some of the weights she lifts, it's quite scary that she can do it, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's, So, look, I don't see that McCaskill can outbox. I think she's too quick, too clever, too elusive, too quick, light on her feet. And I just can't see McCaskill sort of hustling her out of it up close either, because she's too strong.
Yeah. it's interesting we talk about boxing in waves. She is shortly going to join us, so I don't want to start you on a point, but Joe Cordina's been mentioned a couple of times here. He's got a great fight against Anthony Kakache out in Saudi next week. It'll be interesting to see how Joe is. We had him on the podcast a couple of weeks. You know, he's full of confidence and he is flying that Welsh flag in terms of Welsh world champion at the moment.
Yeah, well, look, I don't know, was it a year or a couple of years ago now? He looked unbelievable and he just kind of gone off the ball just through inactivity a little bit, but big talent, you know, and his punch power has got better, hasn't it? He's really sort of developed. So yeah, I mean, listen, it'd be great to get them. I know I don't know who he's with these days. Is he still with Matchroom? Or?
Yeah, he's still with Matchroom and Tony Sims, and yeah, I mean, one of the funny things.
It'd be great to get them on the same card, wouldn't it, Lauren?
Yeah.
And you know,
we live in hope. Well, everything seems to be changing at the moment, doesn't it? Everyone's working with everybody, and no surprise there. Come on, Lauren, come and join us. I don't want to keep you waiting any longer. Great to see you. What's your mindset at the moment? Because I suppose what we've been talking about, you don't ever seem to be ruffled by anything. Doesn't matter what the question is, what the occasion is. But is it any different this week with the fact that the world title's on the horizon now, just days away?
I'll be honest with you, I had this conversation with Rob and he's just like, take it as any other fight, I'm not going to put any added extra pressure. Obviously, it's a big occasion, world title, and these are the fights I want. But at the minute, I'm obviously relaxed, quite chilled. Don't get me wrong, I'll be nervous on the night, and that's normal. But I've had a great camp and I've prepared 100%, and I'm just excited to go out there and show you all what I can do on Saturday.
You say the nerves there. I think you've been quite open with the fact that nerves are good. You've always had nerves. But do you think it will feel a little bit different with the fact that it's a homecoming? When you're at the top of the ramp, and you'll ring walk first, presumably, because she's the champion, that you'll have that atmosphere and that crowd, and you can draw and harness that. How do you think you will feel? Will it be pride? Will it be nerves? Don't want to let them down? Will you be able to harness that energy and use it in your favour?
No, I think pride more than anything. I want to be on these big occasions, and when I turned over pro, that was one of the main things. I want to box in Wales. I want to bring big time boxing back to Cardiff, and I know there's going to be one hell of a noise. When I walk out, I'm going to soak it in, take it all in. But when I get to that ring and I meet Rob, he puts my gum shield in. It's time to switch on and shut all that noise out. And I feel like that's something I kind of do well. I just listen to him, and that's it.
May I ask you what you're expecting from Jessica? Because I think in a couple of recent fights, she's tried to box a little bit more, even though she's renowned for being a very much a front foot aggressive fighter. What do you think she'll do against you?
I think obviously looking at it, I think she's gonna probably might be a bit cagey to start off with, but she'll try and rough me up at some point. And I'm not stupid, I know obviously it's my toughest test yet, and in there, it is going to be a bit of a war at times, and there's going to be a fight. But I believe I come out on top, and I can fight as well. You haven't really seen it from me at the minute because I've been quite comfortable. But I believe, this fight, you'll see the best in me as well. It'll bring the best out of me. And I've prepared, from everything, really. So, whatever she brings, I'll have an answer to.
I know you've kind of answered it there, but whilst you haven't had anybody in the pro ranks that's rushed you or tried to put it on you a little bit, how tricky was it boxing the Russian opponents that were flying across the ring at you? Is that the sort of test that you've had that you can draw on that experience? And I wonder, is there a style that you feel that you haven't fought yet when you've had a long and established international career like that?
No, obviously, I fought every style. Don't get me wrong, this pro game is completely different to the amateurs. It's rough, it's tough. You can get away with using your head, elbows, get away with anything. It's a fight. But like you said, I've been in there against Russians, 75 kilo girls as well, so I've given a lot of weight away, and they've come charging at me, and like I said, big girls. So yeah, I've been across every style. Whether she tries to outbox me, whether she tries to turn it into a dog fight, which I think she will, try and rough me up, especially as the rounds go on as well. But I'm fit and ready, and I'm prepared.
Boxer put out that brilliant clip just a couple of weeks ago about trash talking. When you might get a bit of smack talk this week, and you didn't actually even know that your opponent was trash talking you. You just laughed in her face at the head-to-head. If you get it this week, are you prepared for that? It was very respectful, the original press conference, but if it does turn into a bit of a verbal battle, does it make any difference at all?
No, all that matters is when that bell goes on Saturday. Anyone can say whatever they want. Doesn't make a difference for me. I'm more than experienced not to kind of dwell into any of that or take any notice, no matter what anyone says to me. When that bell goes there, it's just two of you in that ring, and it's about getting the job done, and that's it.
Before we let Lauren go, Matt, you've been there, seen it and done it. When you were walking to the ring in that first world title fight, is there any piece of advice that you can give Lauren that she hasn't already thought of, just from your experience?
Not just everything that you said there is the kind of stuff that you'd want to hear. You know, it's the biggest fight, it's the biggest night of your life, and it's also just another fight. Do you know what I mean? It's like going in.
So can it be both?
Yeah, it is both. I think you've got to harness the energy and the energy, I guess, is the right word from the fact that it's your big fight. You're that up for it. But then it's like just calming down and realising, no, it's just another fight, and being relaxed and focused and not let it. You got to use that energy. Let that energy work for you, not let it chew you up. Do you know what I mean? That's what it's all about, really.
I'm going to let you go because I think it looks like McCaskill was ready, but to hear those words and the new, what will it mean to you and your family? It's something I'll ask you later in the week because we're still days away, but have you dreamt it yet and what it will mean to you?
Yeah, definitely, you know. Obviously, when I turned over as Olympic champion, I want to be involved in these big fights. I want to go on and create a legacy. We've seen what Katie Taylor's done for Ireland. I want to do the same for Wales. And I believe this is just a start. It's a great fight. She's a legitimate champion. There's a right buzz around it, you know, the Welsh fans, even me walking out my house earlier, the amount of support, everyone just jumping on me, can't wait for Saturday. And I believe, you know, as I step up now through the levels and be in these fights, you'll see the best of me, and I'll just keep improving. And the main aim, you know, go on and create a legacy and, yeah, do it all.
Do it all. Well, look, you summed it up perfectly. Wish you all the best. We'll catch up with you later in fight week, but we won't keep you any longer. Are you going to stay around and watch McCaskill?
Probably head off.
Got some shopping to do. Look after yourself. Good to see you. Matt, let's step out of the way because, I've stepped us out of the way thinking things were just about to get going. But Big Mo is making his way there now. You can see the belts on the front of the ring there, the Ring magazine, the IBO, and of course, the WBA world title.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing the champion. Defending her title, she's made her way across the pond from the United States of America. She holds a professional record of 12 victories versus 3 defeats and 1 draw, with 5 of those wins coming by way of knockout. She fights out of Chicago, Illinois, USA, introducing the former undisputed welterweight champion of the world and the current reigning, defending IBO, WBA, and Ring Magazine welterweight champion of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, she is Caskilla, Jessica McCaskill.
Okay, Lamborghini in my city. Don't you be so thirsty? I can let you see that on the show that she on the journey. Lamborghini in my city. Don't you be so thirsty? I can let you see that on the show that she on the journey. Lamborghini in my city. Don't you be so thirsty? I can let you see that on the show that she on the journey. Lamborghini in my city. Don't you be so thirsty? I can let you see that on the show that she on the journey.
Well, if you are just joining us, this is the champion, Jessica McCaskill, the 39-year-old from Chicago. You will have seen her belts on the side of the ring when she walked in, the reigning WBA welterweight champion. Also got the Ring magazine and the IBO as well. She's seasoned, she's experienced, she's fought for world titles in each and every contest she's had since 2017. Really, Matt, there's very few holes to pick in that. That is some run. You know, if you think back 6 years, 7 years now, every single fight she's had has been for a belt or a variation of belts. That is to be applauded.
Yeah, look, the reality is this is a massive step up for Lauren, and if Lauren hadn't done what she'd done as an amateur, you'd be saying this was a mismatch. But she has done what she's done as the amateur, and that does count for something. And we know that, you know, McCaskill has boxed down at lightweight. Lauren's naturally coming down from 75 kilos, so she's naturally the bigger girl. But no doubt, and there's no getting away from it. This is a huge step up for Lauren.
I often wonder if we're dishing out our boxing cliches today, which I love. You know, this is my bag, Matt, I'm going to tell you. But I've heard fighters say, you know,
you think you're going to get a Rocky 3 quote in there somewhere.
I know you and you know me. There's one in there, Matt. You've got one in there. I know it. When you talk about the belts, I've heard fighters say that when you add a belt, it adds 10%. You know, becoming a world champion or a British champion, whichever way it is, it adds something. I just wonder, when she won a world title, McCaskill, I think people probably thought that was her ceiling, but she has gone on, and to become undisputed, she seems to have gained that 10% that I mentioned there. It brought more and more out of her each and every time.
Yeah, definitely. She's improved. She's a different fighter now. Like I say, that fight she had against Katie Taylor, yes, Katie went on as well. They both improved loads, but you know, for McCaskill, that was her first defeat, wasn't it? But she really went on after that, and no one would have predicted at that point that she was going to go on and have the career. You just don't know sometimes how much a fighter can improve, and you know, because some people, you see them early on in the career, and they kind of plateau. They improve a little bit, but not a lot really. They were more or less the finished article. And some people, they haven't even scratched the surface. They get better and better and better, and that's what she's done. So, like I say, if I didn't know how good Lauren was, what a special athlete she is, you know, because it isn't just boxing, taekwondo, football. She's one of these, isn't she? That's just good at anything she does. And if we didn't know how good she was, you know, you'd be picking McCaskill here, but because I think Lauren Price is one of these special talents, I think it's going to be hard. It's going to be a hard fight for Lauren, but I think it's going to be even a harder fight for McCaskill.
In terms of standout wins, to beat Cecilia Brackhouse when she did, Cecilia Brackhouse was probably the pound-for-pound star in female boxing at the time. Not only did McCaskill beat her once, she went back and did it in a rematch. That probably is the standout name on the record in terms of what she went on to achieve. A majority decision in the first fight and then beating her unanimously in the rematch. Definitely the standout victories on the slate.
Yeah, of course, the big wins, the big name. You know, she's a really good fighter, do you know what I mean? But I think Lauren being so fast, so light on her feet, and then if she does get to her, to drag her into a fight, she's so physically strong, I just think it'll be hard for McCaskill.
In terms of the gauges that we have as UK fight fans, Chantel Cameron and Sandy Ryan, okay, if I include Ireland in that as well, Katie Taylor, because it was on a Sky show, but Sandy Ryan and Chantel Cameron, I think Sandy Ryan will continue to shout loudly that she felt that she won that fight. And I remember Sonny Edwards on commentary echoing that. You know, they felt very much that Sandy Ryan was unlucky. But Chantel Cameron perhaps showed her the clearest blueprint there of how to beat Jessica McCaskill. She boxed really well, Chantel, and we know on her night, Chantel can be a very smooth boxer, very good boxer with brilliant fundamentals and also a bit of bite in there as well. But she boxed McCaskill, and that was the way to beat her.
Yeah, I mean, they're different styles, all those girls, aren't they? You know, Lauren's a southpaw. I don't think, and you know, Cameron more comes forward behind the jab. Yes, she can box, but she likes to let her shots go, use that physical strength. Where I think in terms of pure boxing, I think Lauren's, you know, she's pure boxer, very light on her feet, really good long-range skills. You know, you can still, she's still quite fresh at the amateurs in that regard. You know what I mean? But it's funny because she's never really. I know some of the training she does, some of the weights that she lifts, how heavy they are. So I know how strong she is, but she's never really used that strength. It's never really been a physical fight because she's so. It's not a style, you know. She boxes long, quick, in and out. I don't know. I know McCaskill. She was tough and rough early doors, but her boxing ability has massively improved. But I don't know if she's quick enough to outbox Lauren.
And I'm going to say something here, and before I do it, I'm using it as a pure editorial sense. It is a talking point that we have to mention. At 39, it is that saying, Father Time remains undefeated. It's very unlikely that at 39 you're as good as what you could do when you were 35. And while McCaskill, I probably won't be brave enough to ask her when she stands up here later, but Father Time gets to everybody. I wonder if at 39 she can still be the best version of herself.
It's unlikely, isn't it? You know, biologically, you stop producing certain hormones, or certainly as much, and you know, okay, you evolve and you improve in terms of your experience. You can maybe adjust your style a little bit, slow down, box more. We've seen it with Barrera, you know, all action fighter early doors, and then as he got later on in his career, he became more of a boxer. You know, Bernard Hopkins as well, early doors. Really.
Even, dare I say, Canelo a little bit at the weekend boxes a little bit more like a veteran.
Because you have to, because you don't have the same energy, you don't have the same speed, the reflexes aren't quite there as much, but you're more experienced, so that you lose a lot, but you also gain things and you adjust accordingly. So, you know, McCaskill at 39, she's improved, she's a lot more seasoned and experienced, but she won't have the energy or the speed or the reflexes won't be what they were 10 years ago.
Yeah. Or it's highly unlikely, we should say. It's not impossible, because we have seen it, and actually Katie Taylor's a pretty good example of, I think we started to write her off probably about 6 years ago, and people started to say she's creaking, and actually she's found a way to adjust, to her absolute credit, to find a way of adjusting that style and adjusting those feet and doing things ever so slightly different. You're much more qualified than me to talk about that, but there is a way of just making minor adjustments where you can prolong.
Yeah, like I say, how you train, you've got to adjust how you train. You don't have to grind yourself into the ground as much. You got to save yourself. You got to, and the same in the fights. You know, and maybe you don't even have to fight as often, because you know, as you're older, your body takes longer to recover, etc. So you just have to adjust it.
We'll ask her about it, but there is a little bit of a tribute to the local fans, who she's actually planning on breaking their hearts, but she's trying to endear herself, I think, to the Welsh public. Jessica McCaskill with the Welsh Dragon sweatbands on her gloves there, just having them taken off by husband, trainer and manager, I think, in Rick Ramos. I hope I haven't missed anything out there. Not many husband and wife teams out there, but it obviously works for them. So just to reiterate, what are we calling this show? Forging Legacy. Jessica McCaskill, the champion, she will be defending those world titles live on Sky Sports on Saturday night.
Jessica, first of all, welcome back to Cardiff. How are you finding it?
I love Cardiff. Cardiff's wonderful. Everybody's so nice. Everybody's so nice. The last part pictures like there, are you rooting for me? And they're like, no. Like, all right, it's your honor. Everybody's so nice. It's good to be here.
Let's think about what people probably walk into, which is a hostile environment in the arena on Saturday night. How will you deal with that energy that's from the force?
It's just energy. It's just energy, and you can change the energy with the energy, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use it and change it into something positive on myself.
You're the champion. You're the one that's been there, done it. But you are still the underdog. How does that make you feel?
I mean, I've been the underdog most of my career. Had been where less amount of fights, fighting somebody with a title that I would have to take, fighting someone from pound. It's not something that we're trying to do.
What kind of fight are you expecting from Laura?
I don't really put a whole lot of expectation out there, because if you do that, then that's when you have to, make different changes to different things that you've implemented into your head. And so just being smart, not having any kind of expectation. Obviously, me being the champ, she's going to have to do something to take the belt. So I think all the pressure's on her.
And you, we've seen you come forward and be an aggressive fighter. We've seen you on the back, but we've seen you mix it up. Will you be needing all of those styles inside?
It's in my best interest to make sure that I have everything in my pocket. Sometimes the fight's not the hardest thing. It's making sure that the referees are fair, making sure the judges are fair, and that's kind of what Rick is here for, my manager, my husband. And we just want to make sure it's a fair fight, and everything that they say in the back, no holding, no illegal blows, things like that, that needs to go with the fight.
I'm going to ask you a question. I already know the answer to, but I'm going to ask it. How does Saturday night go? Who wins it now?
I take my vote back.
Okay, so I gather that you guys are not getting this audio back home, so I'll just step in, and Matthew Macklin and I will just fill until Jessica comes over and talks to us. Apologies, we thought you were getting that audio there, but just to summarise what she was saying there, calling for fair judges and referees. I mean, you're going to be bored about talking about this, because that is actually the narrative that's coming out of Team Fury and Team Usyk. We're going to be talking about that all next week. Is that a little bit of a ploy though, just to make sure she's putting it out there? We want to make sure that we're getting a fair shakeout here.
Yeah, and it's quite funny because if you really make such a big deal out of it, sometimes it can work the other way.
Come in, Jessica. Jessica, we were actually just talking about your last point that you made. Hello and welcome to Squash Rules. We are live, I should say.
Okay.
And Rick Ramos, come up as well. Everyone come up together. I don't want to start on a negative point, but it is interesting because you brought it up. You know, we want a great fight. We want a fair decision. We want the right result, and we're pushing to make sure that we are getting a fair shout out here. How much of a concern is that for both of you?
I think it's always a concern, and as the fighter, you need to make sure that you have people that are speaking on your behalf or that you're represented in some kind of way, because it's just you out there. And so Rick has been a very good and dominant force of making sure that people recognize, hey, we're watching you. You know, you can't tell me in the locker room, you know, don't hold, and then I get in a fight and the person's holding and I look at the ref and the ref just says fight. You know, that's not very fair on any level, and this is, you know, a dangerous sport. You know, we want to make sure that everyone's safety is thought of and everything is taken into consideration. It's not enough that, you know, Lauren is from Cardiff. She needs to come and do something to take the belt. So, you know, we just want to make sure the judges and the refs are fair, and we're going to do our part, and I'm sure Lauren's going to do her part.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I can only imagine it must be a real motivation to come into what is the Lion's Den, or the Dragon's Lair, I should probably call it. But how much of a motivating factor is it to silence a home crowd? It can't be anything better, can it? Just imagine if you can silence that. We call it a 12th man thing here. It's a soccer reference for, we call it football, but a soccer reference for you guys. But if you could silence that home crowd, you do take away a little bit of an advantage that she's got by having it as a homecoming here.
I don't necessarily want to silence it. I just want to shift it over. You know, instead of being, you know, the Dragons fan, you're going to be a Caskiller fan by the end of the night.
I've got to be honest with you, though. You're going to have to do something to shift these fans.
I know, and that's the thing. You know, the people here at Cardiff are just lovely, and I know they're passionate, and I can't wait to feel that energy. So it's going to be a great night.
There's probably a few links there to Chicago fans. Yeah, it's probably similar. If this fight was happening in Chicago, you'd probably have the same energy for you, and Lauren would be trying to do the same. Lauren came up here and Matt and I asked her, what sort of fight are you expecting from Jessica McCaskill? And she said, well, I think it will be cagey earlier, but eventually she will try and put it on me. What is your response to that? And can you tell us the truth? What sort of fight are you preparing for, and what is the best way to beat Lauren Price?
I mean, you're supposed to just kind of prepare for everything, because, you know, I think I watched tape literally for one fight way back in the day, and that one time that I watched fight, that specific person was doing like a triple jab, and then in the fight she didn't do it, and then I found myself doing it, and so I stopped watching tape, never watched tape ever again, maybe like 30 seconds at most, and I just leave it to there's no real expectation except for that I know that Lauren's going to come and she's going to fight and she's going to put on a proper show, and that's what I'm expecting from her. But specifics, I don't really look towards anything. That might be more of a Rick question, you know.
Yeah, well, that was a nice little segue there. I mean, look, it's very unlikely that Lauren's going to clip this up and go, there you go, they gave it away. But what sort of fight, if it's a more of an open question, what sort of fight are you expecting? You know, Jessica announced herself to us in the Katie Taylor fight at your call when you were a lot more aggressive than perhaps what we've seen you in more recent fights. Can you expand on that? Are we going to see a little bit more of a return? I don't want to pigeonhole you all, but a return to the more aggressive McCaskill, or are we all getting this wrong and it could be a bit more of a boxing match?
I think definitely you have to do both. You got to give a little, get a little, go back and forth, but we got to definitely test where her heart is, where her mind is, where her will is in this fight. So, you know, obviously there's times we're gonna have to pressure Lauren Price. We're gonna have to see what she's about, see if she's real or not. Because a lot of people, you can be a great amateur, but not always. There's a lot of gold medalists, silver medalists, bronze medalists that never won a world title in the pros. The pros is a different game. You know, you're getting punched in the face with 8-ounce gloves, so it's a different atmosphere. It's a different situation, and we're planning to test her and her will and see what she's about.
Yeah, because we know what we are here. We are hyping Lauren Price because, you know, we're the host broadcast here. But at the same time, again, do you feel there are still major question marks over Lauren Price as a professional? Forget everything that happened as a, you know, Lauren Price MBE. That means a lot here. She won a gold medal for Wales and Team GB. But all of that, you leave that at the doorstep when you enter the pros?
Yeah, definitely. You know, we know some of her opponents, and I think if Jess fought all her opponents, she'd be 6-0 with 6 knockouts. So there's definitely a level of power. There's a difference, and I think like she hasn't experienced that. She uses the word she's comfortable a lot. So we plan to make her very, very uncomfortable, and we're going to touch her a lot, and we're going to pressure her, and we're going to see what she's about.
Do you mind if I ask you an uncomfortable question from a distance?
Okay.
So, No. Although I'm uncomfortable that I am still in range, but people talk about your age, and there's two sides to that. It means experience, but also Father Time is undefeated. Are you still as motivated now, and do you still feel that you are at your best now? And I put weight into that as well, that welterweight perhaps you feel is your best weight, that actually age is just a number, and it's almost great for you that people are talking about that because you're focused on the wrong things, perhaps. Is that fair enough that I haven't upset you by asking that?
No, you haven't upset me. It's definitely a question that I get often, and it's something that people actually turn around into a positive, and they're motivated by it because they feel like, oh, well, you started at like mid-20s, and I'm mid-20s, so maybe I can do it too. So that's something that I like to stress on a positive note. But I think it's with age comes wisdom, and if age is bringing something to the game that you're uncomfortable with, you have to be wise enough to figure it out and fix it or change it. So we've become very smart about how we do a lot of things now, and we've adjusted things, just to be smarter. Like, let's say some people don't run outside, and maybe they only run in the water or on sand, things like that. Just small things like that where you can make adjustments and still be your best. And I do feel like I think the wisdom that I've gained over the years has still put me at the top of my game.
Yeah, and I suppose the counter to that is when you start at 20, you don't have the miles on the clock that you started when you're 8 years old, and it works out that way. What about the weight as well? Welterweight, you still feel this is the best weight for you and this is where you are your most effective?
Welterweight is good. I think any weight is good. I just need to know, because the way that we cut weight is just very smart, and it's over a long period of time. And like we came in Sunday and I was already on weight, and so there's no issues there. That's something that we've prepared for. Even if I fight at 140, it's something that I prepare for. It's not last minute. My body is able to sit into that weight very comfortably, and it's not an overnight kind of thing and losing energy or anything like that. So our team is very smart, and I've gained a lot of intelligence myself just to make sure that I'm safe and to be the best example that I could be.
We absolutely love it when fighters turn up here and you trash talk and you do all of that. But if you don't mind me asking, just in terms of a respect level here, to do a world title here in Cardiff and two brilliant females to be top of the bill, I think we're trying to get out of the habit of differentiating between men's boxing and women's boxing. It is just boxing. But at the same time, you want to give it the credit to top the bill here. We're expecting a really good crowd, and it just shows how far we've come, perhaps, and to be part of that, to be the A-side fighter in a fight like that must still be another box ticked for you. I know you've done it before, but to do it here is perhaps a little bit special?
I'm always looking to tick the boxes and be the first, and to be fighting on Peacock is amazing back home in the States. It's so wonderful that boxers arrange that, because I can just tell everybody, like, hey, I'm on Peacock, and they're like, I have that, and they're ready to tune in, and so they just really made it easy for US to be a part of this event, even though we're in the UK. So it's amazing.
Yeah, make it accessible. Before I let you go, taking those belts home, you've made sure you've paid for the baggage to make sure that you're taking them home?
Yes, and I plan on petting the dragon before I leave.
Exactly. You might be breaking a few Welsh hearts, but I'm sure you make a few fans along the way. Rick, thank you for joining us. Jessica, wish you all the best. Thank you very much for joining us live on Sky Sports. Wish you all the best. Matt, echoed exactly what you were saying there about different training routines. I should just say, she said a lot of Peacock there, didn't she? Remember, live on Sky Sports for you UK fans, although big love to all our American fans as well.
Did she say running on water?
Yes, she said running in water.
That's what I was missing.
Exactly. If only I knew what I know now. But yeah, really interesting. But actually, you beat her to the punch in that regard, adjusting your training routine and things like that. You can prolong the career. Talked a good game. There's no doubt that she believes that she's fully confident on Saturday. When we wake up on Sunday morning, do you believe that it will be Anne Still or Anne the New? She can't hear us right now.
I think it'll be Anne the New. Look, she should be that confident. If I was her, I'd be that confident. I think this girl's a talent. But she's had 6 pro fights. She hasn't really been through situations, because she's been good, Lauren, and she's been moved quickly. She hasn't really had that seasoning. And if I'm McCaskill, I'm thinking, well, she's going to need that seasoning to beat me. Yeah. I'm going to make this a fight that she's going to have to call on things that she hasn't managed to I don't know, bring part of her repertoire yet. She hasn't gone through situations in fights that I'm comfortable in. So she's going to try and take her into those deep waters, as they say. And she may be good enough to do that. Then it'll be interesting to see. Just because you haven't been there before doesn't mean you can't do it, by the way. So, just because Lauren Price has only had 6 fights and hasn't been in a tough fight yet, or hasn't gone to the world, doesn't mean she can't. She's done it as an amateur. Okay, yes, it is different, but ultimately she's a performer. She's constantly performed at the highest level time and time again, and I don't think she'll be found wanting if she has to call on it on Saturday night.
Exactly, and as I said in Gladiators, it's not why you're here. You're not here to be entertained. Listen, if you stayed with us, I mean, Matt and I were in deep water there, and I definitely was drowning, but thank you very much for staying with us. Come back tomorrow because we've got the press conference, and then on Friday, if you're even like me, I don't know where we are on the bank holiday, but weigh in on Friday, and of course, fight night on Saturday, live on Sky Sports. Jessica McCaskill defends those world titles. It's a homecoming. It's a first world title shot for Lauren Price. So make sure you join us then, and enjoy the rest of your day.